15 beers on a Tuesday afternoon! 15 beers on a Tuesday afternoon! Fuck yeah!
All right, welcome back to episode 16 of 15 Beers on Tuesday afternoon. Beer Universe had the Bat Blue Light back. They haven't had that in a few weeks. It's good for me. I like that shit, as far as shit beer goes. We just talked to Allison Ferrara, New Paltz filmmaker. That was a fun one. And now we're going to talk to Lauren Jean, singer-songwriter from New Orleans. I just texted her that I was going to take a break and then call her, and she says, I know, I'm listening. And it makes me glad that I didn't talk any shit about her during the first interview. All right, here we go.
Hello.
Yo, what's up?
How many beers have you drank so far?
What are we talking here? Let's see. 2, 4. I'm almost done with 5. So we're starting off slow here.
Yeah, no shit, dude.
Yeah, we'll get there. How about you? Are you on the wagon?
I'm on number 3.
Are you really?
I am.
Okay. All right. I mean, that's.
Well,
You're an hour.
I worked this morning. I'm allowed to start early.
You're an hour behind. So anyway, I think you're ahead of schedule. What are you doing now? Are you still in the kitchen?
No, I am a landscaper now. The restaurant that I was working at closed, I think, for good.
Okay. That sucks. The last restaurant I think I was aware of was Siberia, but you moved on after that to somewhere else, right?
I was working at a place called Mimi's in the Marinade. It's like a Spanish-style tapas bar. I was a sous chef.
Okay.
It was actually a really fun job, but I've been talking forever about getting out of the service industry, and I think I finally have.
Okay,
so,
yeah.
That.
I mean, how is that going down in New Orleans? Like, I mean, so many restaurants are predicated
shut
on
down still.
Just dunzo, huh? Like,
yeah.
A lot of these places, are they going to be able to reopen even because so many bars and restaurants are built around the tourism, right?
Yeah, I mean that's a huge percentage of our economy here, and yeah, it's all shut down. So I mean, at the beginning of this thing, I would say probably 90% of the people that I know were out of work. So that's a lot. Maybe even more than that. Some people have gone back to work in kitchens. A lot of people are trying to figure out something else.
Yeah. Because here, like, a lot of takeout stuff some places are getting by, like, doing takeout and delivery stuff. I don't know if that's as feasible down there,
There's definitely some places doing that. The place that I was working at, it's really not a menu that's designed for that.
Yeah, not good.
And without the bar income,
yeah.
Wasn't really sustainable.
When you left Siberia, was that place still open?
Yeah, well, they're actually still open right now.
Oh, they're open right now.
They moved to a different location about a year and a half ago, and I actually moved with them before I ended up moving to Mimi's.
Oh, okay.
But they're scraping by on takeout, so fingers crossed.
Yeah, and see, I always love the idea of that place. For anyone listening, it's in New Orleans, and it's like a live heavy metal bar with like Eastern European, like Russian cooking. What do you call the menu there?
Yeah, it's Eastern European. I should clarify too. The kitchen is still open. The bar is
no metal shows. Yeah, obviously. Yeah.
Been gone for a long time, even before the pandemic. I mean, not a long time, a year or two.
Okay, so they moved to a new location and went just restaurant.
Yeah, the kitchen was a separate business and it moved out.
Okay, I got you.
And they're still hanging on. The bar changed hands and turned into more of a touristy spot. And I mean, they've been closed like everybody else. I don't know any more than that.
And I think the first time I asked you to be on the show, you were doing some like dog work. You were working with dogs.
I was. For the first 3 months of the pandemic, John and I moved out to Assumption Parish, which is about an hour west of here.
Okay.
We were living in a trailer in the swamp and taking care of dogs.
Nice. That's a fucking country song right there.
Yeah. I haven't written it yet,
You
but
you fucking
if you
should,
get any
yeah.
hot if you get any hot hooks,
Yeah.
send them
Um,
my way.
and what was that? It was like a rescue kind of situation, or
Yeah, it's one of the sites for the Villalobos rescue, which is actually pretty famous. If you've ever watched the Animal Planet show, Pit Bulls and Parolees,
okay.
it's those folks, and they
Oh
happen to
wow.
be good friends of ours, and were kind enough to give us employment in the hard times. So we stayed out there for about 3 months, and then we came back to town when there was a brief reopening of bars here, and John, my boyfriend, is a bartender.
Gotcha.
So when we got word that his place was reopening, we came back to town, and that lasted about 3 weeks.
About how long?
Then they
How long?
shut him back down again.
Yeah, how long did it last for?
um, his place was open for 3 weeks. I think that
Okay.
there was they opened a little later than some other spots. It's maybe like a month.
Yeah. So a lot, and then everyone just started getting sick again. Is that what happened?
Yeah, the infection rate started going up again, so they shut them down. My place never reopened because they were reopened at like limited capacity, and it,
Yeah.
it's so hard to make money like that.
That's what like I'm ever since it started. I started delivering for the Anchor, and
Nice.
Brandy was kind of like forward thinking with it. With right off the bat, she was like, "We're just closed down, no more seating in." She just jumped on it really quick. So we like kind of had a smooth transition, and
Hmm.
by the time other places were starting to just do takeout and delivery, like she had already been doing it for a couple weeks, so we
Yeah,
already had a
smart.
system. Yeah, it was great. But now it's like as things are starting, I think we need to be open at a certain capacity here in Kingston.
Hmm.
And the numbers are going down. I think because more places are open and people are eating out or whatever, and we're still just doing takeout and delivery like she's not open. But
Yeah,
it comes to a point where, like, at what point do you have to open again? I don't know. It's like hard figuring out, like, because at 50%, can you make more than we're doing with the deliveries and takeouts now? And it's hard to do deliveries and takeouts if you're going to have people sitting there. It's not really. It's hard to do
yeah.
both.
It's hard to figure out. The margins for a restaurant are already so narrow. You
Yeah,
know this.
yeah. And for like you said, like if you have an opportunity to get out of the business, I think it's one of those things that's hard for a lot of people to do. So this might be a good. I mean, I think it might be hard for restaurants to find people to work in them once this is over. Once people that have been living that brutal life for so long have to find something else to do for a little while, it might be hard to drag them back in.
Yeah, I mean, I've been doing it for most of the last 18 years.
Yeah. There's like a glory to it, but it's like, you're working a lot. You especially when at the Siberia place, those were like late hours too, right? Those weren't.
Oh, I wasn't even as late as the job I took after that. I had um, Friday nights. I'd be there till 5 or 6 in the morning.
And I don't know what
So
New Orleans landscaping's like. Is New Orleans landscaping like 2 in the morning, or no? You're just working like a normal.
no, it's like
Monday.
regular
Yeah,
landscaping.
exactly.
It's just hotter.
Yeah, hot as fucking shit. I bet.
But then so's working in a kitchen in the
Yeah,
summertime
exactly.
here.
I
It's
guess
also hot.
anything in fucking New Orleans is hot. So what are you gonna
You just have swamp ass for like
do?
9 months, pretty much,
So
no matter what you're doing.
what's up with music? You've been writing new tunes. You guys playing? I saw a live stream early on. You sent me a link to, and I haven't
Yeah, we
seen it
just did
live.
another one last week too. That was really fun with a couple other local bands from our friend's backyard.
Okay.
Um, yeah, it was us, and then one of John's bands, Miss Martha and the Good Time Gang, and then Gal Holiday. So it's three like country. I mean, we're the least country, but us and then like two very country bands.
Oh yeah, your boyfriend sings in a country band as well.
No, he plays drums.
Plays drums. Oh, okay, nice.
Yeah,
I feel
don't
like
let him sing.
yeah, well yeah, you'd never let a drummer sing. That's our fucking.
Uh,
It's my fucking problem.
wait, what?
um, I feel like the last thing it was early on, maybe like April, that you sent me a link to something you were doing like a live stream for some other show, and it was like pretty ritzy looking setup on the online stream.
Yeah, that was I didn't set that one up. That was I want to say I think my drummer set that up, Tom. Um, some friends of his that do a lot of film production stuff.
Yeah.
But they have like a warehouse with all this fancy gear, and then once the pandemic hit, I think just for something to do, they started doing live streams for
Nice.
bands.
That's
But yeah,
awesome.
uh, I should have had that information on hand to
I
give you a
forget
link to that.
I
But
forget what song you close with, but it was like Tom fucking rocking out some metal drums. And it was fucking nice.
yeah, that's Ain't Tired of Living. That's on that last album we did.
Oh, is it? All right. I gotta fucking pay more
It
attention.
is. Yeah, and then so the end is different every time. We kind of just like me and Carrie just kind of like chunk on the chords until Tom's done. That's his it's his time to shine. He's an amazing drummer, and
Yeah,
he's very
yeah.
modest.
Gotta let him
He's
go.
very modest, except for sometimes that one song.
All right, nice. And how's that been going? Have you guys been like practicing, like doing? How's that work? Is it at the point where it doesn't even have to be social distance now? I feel like a lot of bands have been doing shit differently. You know?
I mean, we don't really have a practice space where we can socially distance, but we've had a few practices. I mean, we've practiced
Yeah.
for both the live streams. But yeah, it's been pretty minimal. I've also been, out of town a lot since I was gone for 3 months at the beginning, and then John and I also we drove across the country to see my little sister get married.
Oh, up in Oregon.
Yeah.
Nice.
I was really worried about it, but we decided we were more comfortable renting a car and just camping the whole way and like not staying in hotels or not like taking a flight, and we tried to
Yeah.
be smart, and fingers crossed it's been like a month now, and
Yeah. I
there's
feel like
no cases I know attached to that event.
I
So
mean, you're gonna fucking get gas in New Orleans, so you're gonna get gas at a fucking. I don't know. Is it that much dangerous to get a gas at a fucking pilot in the middle of Oklahoma than it is to get gas in New Orleans? I don't think so, right? Like you're not.
we
I don't know.
we were vigilant about the mask and the hand sanitizer involved.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
I and we weren't eating inside restaurants. We were like eating out of a cooler in a parking lot.
yeah. I mean, even
We
getting
we we
takeout
really did our
food.
best.
Like I think if you were gonna get takeout food, from there, it's the same as where you're from almost, right? Like unless you're traveling through an area that has some like super high infection rate, which for the most part, like New Orleans to Oregon, you're going through the middle of fucking nowhere, right?
It was a lot of the middle of fucking nowhere for sure.
Yeah. Which route do you take there? Do you like take 40 across and then go up, or do you go like up and then across?
I'm trying to remember what highways we took. I can tell you what states I have shot glasses from,
Whatever,
but we took a slightly different route back. I know up we went through like Texas, Oklahoma,
Okay, so yeah, you're kind of going out west and
Kansas,
then
Wyoming.
going up. Yeah, right on.
Uh,
A lot of pretty shit on that drive, I bet.
yeah, we camped in the Tetons one night. That was really fun.
Nice.
Um, and I think my favorite spot we camped was on the way back. We camped in Snow Canyon State Park in southwestern Utah. That was
Oh, okay.
really beautiful.
Nice. And your
Yeah.
family's from like Eastern Oregon too, so it's not even.
No, well, they live in Portland now.
Oh, they do. Okay.
Yeah.
I had Sam Bones on the show a while ago. Was it a couple episodes ago? And she was good. She's living out there now. She's all
Hell
over
yeah.
the place. Yeah.
I miss me some Sam Bones.
Seth Kessel says to say hello. I saw him. He was at Lara's a couple days ago.
Ah,
Yeah.
shit. Miss you guys.
Yeah. Alaska. That was fucking fun, right?
Alaska was fun.
Yeah.
Um, I really want to do it again.
Me too. I did. I talked to. I had Boo and Johnny Lungs on early. I tried to get you. That was when you were doing the dog thing. And
I
I
know,
tried
yeah,
to
I
get
was
you
really
on.
sad I couldn't be a part of that.
Who the fuck did
I
I
had
get?
horrible reception out there anyway, though. So
Well, fucking when I called Boot, he was all like, he was at like an excavation site or some shit with like the shit on speakerphone. I don't know. It was like a very, I love Boot, but and he's so fucking interesting. But like, I think he was very, I know, felt like I was dragging him along a little bit.
poor guy.
Yeah. What else? Oh, cults. Have you ever been in a cult?
I sort of grew up in one, depending on who you ask.
Yeah, like in what sense?
Um, I lived out in the middle of nowhere in Eastern Oregon. Um, my dad ran a Young Life camp, which is like, if you're not familiar, it's like an evangelical Christian
Oh, okay.
organization. But we lived out there and we were like simultaneously like ranching and also in this we would run the summer camp for like high school kids.
Gotcha. Okay. An
But it was like
evangelical summer camp. So yeah, that's
we
very.
yeah, we were like an hour, I was like an hour away from like the nearest grocery store and like everyone that I grew up with worked out there also. So it felt very culty.
Yeah, right
Or
on.
certainly it feels very culty in
I
retrospect.
mean,
I think at the
definitely
time,
religious camps in the middle of fucking nowhere. It kind of got
yeah,
to feel culty.
at the time I think I was just like I'm riding horses and like herding cattle. This is fucking great.
Yeah.
And I don't think I changed it. It's fine.
Yeah. I mean, you got out. You didn't have to like, do any of those crazy things to escape like you do most cults, right?
No, yeah, no one ever tried to make me drink any Kool-Aid that wasn't just Kool-Aid or anything.
Yeah, right on.
Um,
Have you ever?
I got I did get letters from people that lived there for a long time after I was kind of out.
And how'd
But I've
you?
I've moved enough now that that I don't get those anymore.
What made you decide? When did you leave Eastern Oregon?
Well, I didn't live there full time. Once I was in high school, there wasn't a high school out there. There was like a one-room K through 8 that I went to.
Okay.
And then my family, or like my mom and my sisters and I moved to Bend,
Okay.
so that like we could go to a regular school.
Yeah.
But
Right.
then we still were out there all the time, and my dad was still working out there full time, and we spent summers out there until my parents kicked me out at the beginning of my senior year of high school for smoking weed.
Oh shit. Yeah. Yeah. You're just out of the fucking house.
Yeah.
I grew up with some kids like that where their parents would catch them drinking, and my friend Ray in particular, and they sent him to fucking rehab for like fucking 4 months because we were fucking drinking like we get a case of Meister Brown, you all get sloppy from drinking 7 beers, and
Yeah.
they sent him to fucking rehab, and he came back and he's like, we need to listen to the Gorilla Biscuits and DRI, and we're taking acid tomorrow. And it's like you just fucked. He knew all the cool shit because he was in. We were not cool kids. We weren't doing cool shit. But he went to rehab and he met all the cool kids, and damned if we'd be fucked if we're not going to do that shit as soon as he gets back.
Hell yeah.
It's not and the same thing. Like you're smoking some weed, kick you out of the house. Are you going to smoke less weed when you're kicked out of the house? No, it's like
Oh no. Definitely not.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, you want to hear a sound?
Yeah. What
Number
is it?
4 there, bud.
Number 4. Oh shit. What am I? Oh, I just started on 7. So I'm 3 ahead, but again, I'm an hour ahead. So yeah, I'm not trying to. Not sure. What are you drinking?
I'm drinking Miller Lite, dog.
Nice. I'm got the Labatt Blue Lights are my favorites for some reason. It seems like
Oh,
the
it's that Canada
shows.
beer.
Yeah, the shows always go smoother with them. I think they must be like the Miller Lights are pretty good. I did Jenny Light one day, and I was fucked up for that one. I think those must be a little higher. When I first started, I think in episode 2, before I was really recording them, or 3, I was doing like a Facebook live stream, but I wasn't recording them. And I did like Keegan Ales, Mother's Milk, and Old Capitol, and I think the Keegan Ales are 8%. And
Yeah, I don't think you should drink 15 of those
yeah,
and then try to talk to people.
the last 40 minutes, I'm just asleep on the fucking couch, and like Lara and like 4 other people are watching me sleep. It was not. It wasn't. Yeah, it was cute, I guess, in a way. It's like, but it's not.
Can I tell you something? I was hoping you'd be more drunk.
Oh yeah, I mean, I guess I could go do some liquor, but I don't know. It's probably not a good idea.
John just busted out the tequila, so.
All right. Well, we still got some time here. I'll try to drink quicker, and I'll be more interesting. I'm sorry, I'm not interesting enough.
There's like only, I mean, I know Tour Kevin, Tour Kevin goes pretty hard.
Tour Kevin is like, the beginning of the day, I'm grumpy because you guys are a bunch of fucking fuckers. And then, night Kevin is fun because I'm drunk and I don't care that you guys are a bunch of fuckers.
Well, yeah, and then I mean, half the time Mal's already passed out, so it's just you and me, bud.
Remember, where was it? It was Seward.
I was just thinking about that where we had to put him in the RV. He was trying to party, and we were trying to give him relationship advice, and then he just fell over.
Well, yeah, I don't know. We were there. We did a tour of Alaska for anyone who were listening. Me, Lauren, and Mal. Me and Mal played as Red Necromancer. Lauren played by herself. We played in this bar in Seward, which is a fucking beautiful place. I recommend everyone go. What was it called? Like the fucking. It wasn't the pit.
Pit.
The pit.
It's called
it was
the pit.
The pit. And they had an RV out front for us, so that was fucking cool that we got to stay in or whatever. I think
We ended up staying there for 2 days.
I think 3 days, to be honest.
Was it 3 days?
Well, yeah, because there was the first day we played there, and then we stayed there. The first day we played from 10 to 2, and it was still light
and
out.
And then everybody showed up.
And
so
then everybody showed
playing.
up, so we still played till 5 in the morning. And then 5 in the morning is when me, you, and that giant dude in the kilt went out and drank
awesome.
Jameson. What the fuck was his name? Like Gronk or something? Kronk?
I think it was Gronk.
Gronk is like a Patriots tight end, so I think it was like close to that. I think it might have been Kronk.
He doesn't play for the Patriots anymore.
Yeah. Oh yeah. All right.
Yeah.
But yeah, we had to put Mal to get bed that day. But then the open mic night day is what I'm talking about, where you and me are sitting out there talking to, like, I forget who the fuck we're talking to. I think it was a bunch of, like,
it's that teacher that gave us all the salmon.
the teacher that gave us the salmon. But then Mal comes in and he's like trying to leave, and he's gonna go into the fucking basement. There's a door just leaning against the side of the wall. An old door, and he's trying to open that to leave.
He like, doesn't realize.
All right,
there's
fucking
just a wall
Narnia, yeah, Lion, the Witch, and a fucking banjo player.
Yeah, we pretty much just lived there for like a couple days, other than our expedition to hike that iceberg, which that was pretty fun.
Yeah, I mean, Alaska, for anyone that hasn't been, you have to fucking go.
Dude, we gotta go back.
I mean, I remember leaving and being like, well, I'm coming back next year. You know, like, and I can't. It's almost strange that I haven't been there since. You know, it's like such a fucking experience, especially during this when everything's like shut down. It's like, where else would you fucking be? Everything's always shut down up there. You know, kind of.
Dude, except the bars, man. They love their bars up there. I bet they'll be just fine.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, I wonder, you know, because there are a lot of tourists, so I wonder if the tourists fuck it up. You have people coming from everywhere. I don't know.
Yeah.
But there's so few fucking people that, I don't know. That
I mean, and they don't really only get the tourists for a few months.
Yeah.
Too. I think the people that live there like drinking enough. I think their bars will be fine.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I don't know. Do people go out to bars in the winter there? Because a lot of shit, like, when you were trying to do the booking for there, a lot of stuff was closed over the winter,
true.
right?
I don't know. They probably just, like, cut the phone lines and snowshoeing or something. I don't know. Everybody we met up there was such a powerhouse.
Yeah, but I think they might just stay home and get I don't really know.
Maybe.
Where did the moose go when it rains? Where does Johnny Lungs go when it's fucking January? I don't know. I don't have these answers.
You should have asked him that when you had him on your show.
I probably did. That was another one. I'm sure it was a good conversation, but I don't remember a lot of that one. that was fucking hazy.
Good thing you recorded it for posterity.
Yeah, well, that's the thing too. Why I try to slow it down in the beginning, because otherwise, when I'm editing it the next day to put it on the podcast sites, I have to listen to myself for a while. I'm like, oh, this fucking dude, what is wrong with me? You know. It's
that's
like there's one thing to be drunk, and that's fine. Like, I think I don't mind it, and I think I'm okay at it. But it's another to, like, be sober and then listen to a recording of yourself drunk is not the best way to.
That's why you just gotta get drunk again when you post it the next day.
Yeah. Oh, is that it? So I can do the editing.
Words of wisdom.
Do the editing drunk. I gotcha.
Yeah.
It was like when I was younger, like 21, 22, I used to be in this band in New Paltz. I think you played at Snugs in New Paltz when you were here.
Yeah.
But there's an older band of drunks, and we'd do these shows, and we would just be a fucking slop fest when we played. And the band, it was like, they were like 24 and we were 20, so they were the older band. They used to be
you're
like,
half dead at that point, man.
You need to practice drunk. If you're gonna play drunk, you need to practice drunk, and then you'll be fine when you're. It wasn't like don't get so drunk when you play. It was like just get drunker when you practice. Yeah, exactly.
That's words of wisdom, man.
Well, you guys, Dirty Rotten Snake in the Grass. I feel like, the drinking is the least of your issues, right? You guys are like hardcore fucking.
Oh no, man, they whip my ass into shape. I get fucking hammered when I go on tour with you guys by myself because
Oh,
no one can
Dizzy,
get
yeah,
pissed off
Dizzy
at me
gives you a
but
lot of
me,
time.
you know.
I see. I have a
But
live. I just put a live picture up now, and I had a better one of you from the same thing. It was like right next to it, but it didn't have Dizzy in it, and I wanted to get Dizzy in the picture. So,
yeah, we used to go pretty hard, but they at least make me stay sober for shows now,
all right.
or like sober-ish. I mean, like not blackout drunk.
How's Dizzy doing?
I think he's doing all right. Like I said, I've only seen him a handful of times since this whole thing started,
A
but
lot of those, him and Tom both kind of, and Kerry live off like playing music in New Orleans.
um, him, Dizzy and Tom are both just musicians.
Yeah,
So yeah, they live out that. Carrie uh was working at One Eye Jack's and at a tattoo shop. I think both of which are One Eye Jack's is a venue, so
gotcha.
that's definitely done for now anyway. I don't know about tattoo shop, but
Yeah.
yeah, he's service industry also.
So how are they doing as musicians? Like you just do like busking if there's no tourists. Is there busking? Is like what? How are they getting through?
I know they've been doing live streams, and I mean they're
Gotcha.
both smarter than me, so I think they have like money saved. I just realized that I mean I've pretty much worked this whole time, like for the most part, other than like our road trip. I mean I worked at the dog rescue for 3 months, and then when we came back and John started working at the bar again, I got like a construction job for a couple weeks, for a friend, working for a friend, and then now I'm doing this landscape thing. Oh my God, though, last week when we thought we were gonna get hit by that hurricane and
Oh
ended up
shit!
hitting
Yeah.
west of us, and it rained every day for a week, I realized that I really should. I cannot be unemployed. Like I will just be a fat slob that
Yeah.
gets drunk on my couch and watches Netflix all day. It's not good.
Yeah. That's hard to motivate. I think when the quarantine first happened, Mal bought himself a PlayStation 4 and just like stayed home. Like I think drinking liquor and playing fucking Fallout 4. I think
Yeah.
he's the same way. I think he needs to like be at a job and just kind of some kind of structured lifestyle around him.
Well, it's so crazy because I've always worked so much, and then if you talk about like the things that you'll do with your free time,
Mm-hmm.
and then you have all this free time, you're like, no, I'll just do it tomorrow.
Yeah, it's fucking yeah.
It's like I really care about this next episode of Orange Is the New Black or
I
whatever the fuck.
fucking I agree completely. It's like if I have if I have a week, if I have a ton of free time, I get nothing done. If
Yeah,
I have just like a little bit of unexpected free time, I get stuff done. It's almost like you have
yeah,
to like surprise me with it. And then I'll be like, oh,
yeah.
I can here, I can work on this recording for a little bit. But if it's like I have 3 days, I'm like, oh, I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it tomorrow, and then I'm back to work. Like, and then I've done nothing.
If I'm working 60 hours a week, I'll pull hours that don't even exist, like to
Hmm.
regular people, just out of my asshole, and I'll make something happen. But yeah, give me like 6 days off in a row.
I think that's like a perpetual motion thing. I remember like when I first opened a taco shack, like, the first 3 weeks I worked like 100 plus hours. It was fucking bananas. And I
Yeah.
would still go out drinking. And it's like, how the fuck, if you're working from 9 in the morning till fucking 1 or midnight or 1 or whatever, 7 days a week, how are you going to go drink after that? And it was just because it was new and I was so fucking amped. It was like, it was new and things were going well. And it was like a feeling of accomplishment. So you're all fucking fired
And then
up.
you wake up one day and you're like
It
just
sucks.
immediately 10 years older.
Yeah, exactly. For me, it was like, 17 years at one job
Yeah.
is fucking crazy. Who does that? Like police do that because they have like a pension and shit. I don't know what the fuck I was thinking. I don't know. But
Yeah, they got protesters to go beat up, and they
yeah,
got like unarmed black men to murder. They're just super psyched about it.
how is that down in New Orleans? Are there protests down there or like
I think they've fallen off a bit lately. They're still doing like some weekly stuff, and um everything down here was pretty peaceful on the protesting end, and it was only violent on the end of the cops.
yeah? Like, I don't think you know, I don't think some 17-year-old from Alabama is gonna haul into New Orleans with an AR-15 and show up on the street. Like,
you would hope not. Yeah.
yeah, I think it's a whole different world.
Yeah, there was definitely like huge protests here, and they were like back in the height of this shit a few months ago. Like I was out in Assumption for all the good action, but
Yeah.
they shut down the I-10 a couple of times. And yeah, it was really the violence was all from the cops.
Yeah.
Hashtag shocked.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean there was not like looting or anything down here. I think the only property destruction was people tearing down Confederate monuments that they'd been asking
Yeah.
the city to remove for fucking years anyway.
Is there a lot of that stuff down in New Orleans?
What's that?
There's a lot of those like monuments and whatnot in New Orleans.
Oh yeah.
Because like I don't know, I don't think of New Orleans as like I mean, it's obviously southern, but I don't think of it as a Confederate city as much as like a French city almost. You know?
I mean, it's definitely been like a liberal bastard child of the South for a long time, but there's
Yeah.
still like lots of statues. You know, every other fucking street's named after someone that owned slaves.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So
And it probably was
people
big.
people
Like,
have been
yeah.
asking for that shit to change for a long time, and I think when the protests started happening, people just kind of started like tearing stuff down and throwing it into the river. So that's been a
Yeah.
thing. But that's
Yeah.
been like that's like the only property destruction that I've heard of.
Yeah.
Uh, not like people. No one's burned down the French Quarter or like somebody's like mom and pop
Yeah.
store or nothing.
Yeah. No one's burned down. What's the fried chicken place? Hanks.
No one's burned down Hanks, man.
Yeah.
Hanks
You
is
know,
Hanks is like
I would shoot
rebellion
somebody
home
for that
base.
shit,
We're
yeah.
talking about the ninth ward.
What's the
Get
lady?
your mask, your hand sanitizer, your
What's the lady's
snacks.
name? Yolanda. Is that the Friday?
Yolanda. That is how wow, I can't believe you remember that.
Because that's good. Was it like fucking 2 pieces of fried chicken for $1? No, it couldn't have been that.
They
cheap.
raised it. It's $1.49 now. It used to be 99 cents.
for 2 pieces though, right?
Yeah.
Or is it 1 piece?
It's 2 pieces.
2 pieces for $1.49 of fried chicken. That's crazy.
Yes, sir.
It's crazy. And
Yeah,
it's
well,
like-
you live in New York, where everything is twice as expensive as it should be.
Well, that was
Or
the
more.
funny thing about going to Alaska is for me everything was slightly cheaper than New York and Alaska, cigarettes and gas at least. And for you,
I
they
was
were,
just
like,
in a constant
triple.
state of sticker shock for like
Yeah.
3 weeks. Like, oh my god, I found cigarettes for only $9. I'm gonna get a bunch.
Are you still smoking?
I'm still smoking.
All right.
How you expect a lady to quit with all this stress these days? Man?
Yeah,
Come
no,
on.
I don't know. I was just curious. You know, it's like I'm out of the loop. You know, I don't even realize.
I'm proud of you.
Yeah, it's weird. I mean, I tried for like so long, and somehow I like brainwashed myself into quitting, and I'm trying to figure out how to do that for other shit. Like if I get fucking Jack Diesel, you know, like not be a fat fucker by doing the same thing, and I don't know if I know how to do that. You know, I think I just
But
got
food's so good,
lucky.
dude.
What's that? Food is really good. Yeah. Exactly. To the extent where like a cigarette like is not as good as a meatball parm. in my
Yeah, if it's
opinion, or
between food
chicken
and cigarettes,
wings.
I think that would be how I would quit. It's just
Yeah.
like, well, do you want enchiladas or do you want a pack of Pall Malls? I'm like,
Shit. Unplug my mic here. I think the idea in general is to just have better self-control all the time, but that's not my strong suit. So.
well, that's, you know what? That's a lie. But okay.
What do you mean? What's a lie?
How do you just make yourself have better self-control?
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. I mean, I think it is something that you can decide to do, you know? Like, I could have decided to quit smoking 10 years earlier. You can decide to do anything, you know, theoretically, I guess.
Yeah.
It might not be better or worse. I don't know. So what was up with that hurricane? They thought it was going to be like the apocalypse down there, and then it turned out to not be that bad?
Well, we thought it was gonna hit us, and then it changed direction a few days before. Well, originally we thought we were gonna get Marco was supposed to hit us as a Category 1 hurricane, which isn't like, you know, not like we're evacuating for Cat 1, but then they thought like 2 days later we were gonna get hit by like a Cat 3.
Oh, okay.
Being Laura, when it actually happened was that Marco just dissipated into a tropical storm, and it was nothing. and then Laura swerved west and hit western Louisiana, and we're southeast. So I mean, it just rained for a week, which is not like abnormal for August anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So
And how is it
we're
in New
we're
Orleans now?
fine.
Like, it's not like everything has been, as far as like levees and shit, like things have been fixed. So if there is a crazy storm, it's not going to just get completely flooded again, or
I mean, that's what they say, man. I also used to live right next to the levee, and I definitely like sometimes you're walking on the river, and then you're just like, wow, that water is like 30 feet above my house.
yeah, 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 yeah.
And really close to the top of this here.
Yeah, wow.
But
What was that?
um
Where was that fucking squat that we stayed with you the first like few times we came through?
that was in the seventh ward. It's actually just down the street from where I live now.
Okay, right
Yeah, I'm back in seventh.
on. What what's that? What's up with that house now? Like, didn't you guys like? Didn't someone have like squatters' rights to it almost or something like that?
They did, but they kind of expired, and the city decided they wanted to auction it off, and now it's been quote unquote remodeled as 10 studio units and
What?
is for sale for like I want to say it's close to $1 million, which is insane.
Jesus.
I mean, it's a big ass house,
Yeah, it was a
but
big ass house, but 10. There's no way 10 studio units, right? Like that attic.
I mean, I
It's like
think
a
it used to be
4-bedroom
four. It used to be
tops.
4 apartments, like 4 small apartments. Which I actually live in a house now with a similar old school floor plan, but it's 4 apartments. So, but yeah, I
Jesus.
don't know how you get 10 out of that.
Yeah. That was when like Fish Guts was living in the your attic, right?
Fish Guts was living in my attic.
Yeah.
It's good days.
Yeah. That was when I almost took that dog that was you were trying to convince us to steal one of your roommate's puppies, I think.
Oh, you know who did take that puppy was
No,
was
Jesse.
Jesse.
No, Jesse took that. He had already taken that puppy's like
Oh, was I trying to
other. Yeah,
get
it was
pawn off
another.
another puppy on you?
Yeah, it was the same. It was like a part of that same litter, but it was.
Well, it's a good thing you didn't, because Jesse got the only good one. The rest of them sucked. So,
Yeah. She was kind of mean, and that's what
and all
you.
that talk about quitting smoking made me really want to go outside. So, let me know if you can still hear me, kid.
Yeah, no, you're good so far. I forgot to bring down my pee jug for this conversation, so
For your pee jar?
my pee jug,
Oh,
that's the
dude.
problem with this. We're gonna talk for an hour. I already have four beers in me. Unless you have an interesting story that I can run upstairs and pee for. What?
Unless I have any, what interesting stories like
Yeah.
without you?
Well, no. I mean, you can tell an interesting story about me, and then I'll just be peeing, so you can tell it however you want. So if
So
you,
oh man, you're just putting me on a spot like that.
well, let's see. Let's see. I mean, I can help you out with it. What are we talking about? There was the lady bear story with the hiking down to the water. What else we got? What are some good Alaska stories? There's
Just find your pee jug, dude. You're stressing me out. You can't just leave me on the air by myself
yeah,
like
fair
this.
enough. I mean, well, I know the pee jug's upstairs. This is my problem, but
You have like a window you could open or something?
no, I'm good. We'll power through it.
Just power through.
What was your favorite spot in Alaska?
Oh man. I don't know. I think Seward was the most like shockingly beautiful, but
Yeah,
I think a lot of that also had to do with like I expected that town to be ugly because it just sounds like sewage
yeah.
or sewer. And
And
then I was
because
just like, wow, this is
Homer,
the
like
most.
the whole drive to Homer was so fucking beautiful that
The whole thing was.
yeah.
I don't remember a time where I was like, other than maybe Anchorage, where I was like, oh, this is ugly.
And even then, like the first day we got to Anchorage, there was like cloudy and shit, so you couldn't see the mountains. But Anchorage is like, kind of an ugly city, but when you can see the mountains, it's still pretty beautiful.
I was, I think, preoccupied at that time by the fact that I just come from New Orleans in August, and it was like 40 degrees when we got there, and I was just like, I did not pack for this. I don't think I even owned clothes that I could have packed for this. I'm freezing.
Yeah, that was a weird thing. I mean, I didn't bring a sleeping bag, which is a big issue a lot of nights because we slept in the car so many fucking times. that we didn't get down to 30 at night. I'm just like, what
You
the fuck?
slept. I listened to you snore.
It's therapeutic, man. What is easier to sleep to? I'm like a white noise machine.
Dude, your snoring is not therapeutic.
It is.
I'm
It
glad you
is.
feel that way.
You're just doing it wrong. You're just sleeping wrong.
I'm gonna just record that for you next time we go on tour, and then just put it on blast, like on my
Yeah.
little JBL next to your head, while you try to go to sleep.
Yeah, and it's Stacy said it was therapeutic, so you're wrong. I have
She
witnesses.
was lying to you.
Yeah, fair enough. I get it. Fairbanks, have you talked to Johnny Lung since you've been up there? Or Boot? Well, we saw Boot at Muddy Roots the next year, right?
I don't think I've talked to him since Muddy Roots.
Yeah. McCarthy, that was fucking fun. That's like
That drive was insane.
I try to tell people that story, and it doesn't even make it's like it sounds unbelievable that you're in the middle of Alaska, and then you get off of a road that's actually a road and go onto a dirt road for 60 miles. That's kind of crazy town.
It was like 4 hours on that fucking road, and then we got a flat at the end.
Well, we got a flat on the way, but right at the very end that we found out on the way back. That was it was a shit show.
Indeed.
What was the fucking dude's name? What was the tattoo face guy's name? I can't remember.
Tattoo face guy?
Yeah, he rode with us from Fairbanks to McCarthy.
Oh, Max?
Max.
Yogi?
There you go, Yogi. Yeah.
Yeah. He comes down to New Orleans sometimes.
Yeah.
He's bought a fishing camp down here, but the only time I saw him last time he was down here, he just showed up at my work and then like got shit hammered and disappeared.
Yeah. All right.
Which is fine. That's what people like come to my work to do, or my work at the time.
Yeah.
But
so you been writing anything? You been learning any covers? What you been listening to?
I've written exactly one song since this whole thing started, and it was like a week or two ago.
All right. What's it about?
I pulled out so basically like I'll get a little like hook or a line in my head that I think's good, and then I write it down. And then I just, if I'm at home, which I almost never am when this happens, I'll write it in my notebook for such a purpose. If I'm at work or just running around, I'll write it on just like a scrap of paper and like shove it into some pants or a wallet or whatever.
Yeah, right on.
And I found like a 2-year-old or 3-year-old scrap of paper with a line on it, and I was like, oh, that doesn't suck. And then I wrote a song from it.
Nice. What's it called?
That doesn't have a name yet.
I gotta fucking piss. I'm sorry. I gotta take a break. Tell a story. What are you gonna tell a story about? Fuck.
I'll tell a story about when we were in Anchorage, or I guess what was it, our second night, our first night?
Okay.
Well, when we played at that bar that Boot worked at.
Hey, we got him fired.
From.
Boom.
Yeah, I'll
You're the
tell a
best.
story about us getting Boot fired.
I love that.
What was the name of that little ski town we went out to that night? Before all this. Oh, you're not gonna help me out at all. Shit. Okay. So, so I believe this was our first night. We got into Anchorage. We meet up with Boot at his mom's house. He's fixing up an RV for Days and Days, and they're playing. I'm trying to remember the name of this little ski town. It's like an hour away. It starts with D. It's really beautiful. They're playing there that night. So we're like, well, whatever. We have nothing else to do. We drive out there, get hammered at the Days and Days show, sleep in a car in a parking lot. Then the next day, we're driving back, and there's only one highway between this town that I can't remember the name of in Anchorage. And there's a really bad accident that stopped traffic for hours. And Days and Days abandoned Boots. We pick him up hitchhiking, get stopped in traffic, and then we turn off at a bar we later play called, I believe, the Brown Bear Inn. And we're just killing time. We're playing some songs. And then the people that are there don't want us to leave. So they start buying us pitchers of beer to get us to play more songs. So by the time we leave there that evening, we're pretty drunk. I personally had spent all my money before people had started buying us beers, so I'm drunk and broke. And we drive back to Anchorage, and we're supposed to play this bar in Anchorage that Boot was working at. So, uh, the bar is not paying us very much, and they're also not giving us a drink deal. So, of course, we're like, oh, we have to stop and spend what money we do have on like a 24 rack of PBR, I think is what we got. Anyway, um, we stop at the grocery store on the way to the bar to try to buy this beer, and I think Kevin's card got declined and my card got declined, and then so we're sitting in the car and Boot's like, I'll just go get it. So he goes back into the store to get the beer, and he comes out and he's just waving this like 24 rack or 30 rack over his head like a wild man, and then the box breaks and beer just shoots in every direction across the parking lot, and all of these like tweakers that I hadn't even realized were there,
Yeah.
they just come out from their corners and just start being like, let me help you with that, but they're just stealing our beer and running away. So we're just like trying to shoo all these tweakers and like scoop our beer back into what's left of
You'll
the
never
box.
see three lazy motherfuckers jump out of a car quicker.
Oh yeah.
When you realize what was fucking happening. It's like-
When they spent the last of their money on beer in a parking lot in Alaska.
Yeah.
Anyways, we salvage what we can of this. I think it was a 30 rack, or I don't know. It was a case. It's a big case.
Yeah.
We go to this bar. We each have our like one free drink, and then between sets we're like just going out to the parking lot and drinking beer out of the back of our rental SUV.
Yeah.
And then well, we got pretty drunk.
I think we had to call in a fucking cab to get home, right?
Well, yeah, I think we only made like $150 or something, and we had to spend like half that on a freaking cab in Anchorage because we got back in the rental. Well, not like we should have been driving anyway, but we got back in the rental and realized that the lights on this rental car that we had didn't work. So we called a cab and went back to the bar the next day to get our car, and they fired Boot because a band that he hired and him were all getting drunk in the parking lot on outside liquor. And then Boot just came on tour with us, I think, for like a week.
Yeah, pretty much.
So that was that.
Yeah.
So immediately just start doing damage.
That's and Boot wasn't with us for the Whitewater Festival near Hope, right? Because that was another good story. Now that I don't have to piss so bad, I can remember that liquor store in the middle of nowhere.
Oh, the Moonshiner Shack.
Yeah. So we have a Friday night off, and our friend Johnny Lungs tells us, hey, you should just come. There's this Whitewater Festival, like Days and Days is playing, whatever. There's kegs of beer. There's free beer. Don't worry about bringing beer. Just come and you can busk and, make a little bit of money busking. And we're
he said we could play, but he also said we can't pay you.
Yeah, okay.
Because the budget's maxed out already. We can't pay you, but you can get drunk for free on your night off.
We drive out to this place and we drive in, almost get fucking stuck. It's like, there's some crazy road in the middle of literally fucking nowhere.
And it's been raining for days.
Yeah.
So it's just all mud.
We're like, oh, people, where's the beer? Like, people say, John Lungs told us there'd be beer. And everyone's like, you didn't bring beer? And everyone starts laughing as soon as they hear that.
It's like, oh, we're not tapping the keg till tomorrow night, or the kegs or whatever.
And you Google, like, where's the nearest gas station? It's 2.5 hours away. A 2.5 hour drive. It's like, you motherfuckers. But there's a gas station, there's a house.
It's not a gas station. It is
house.
The Moonshiner Shack.
40 minutes away, where they have cases of beer and some liquor, but random. They had Lagunitas IPA, I believe. I don't think they had much other beer. They might have Budweiser or something, but they didn't have. They had like Lagunitas and not much normal, like not much shitty beer per se.
Well, when we show up and there's nobody there. There's a sign on the door that says like, if no one here, call this number. So Uh, I think it was Mal. Mal went to call the number. In the meantime, this lady runs out. There's all these trailers behind it. This lady runs out of one of the trailers, and she's like, "Hey, are you here for gas or liquor?" We're like, "Liquor." She's like, "Can't help you." She disappears again. Mal calls the dude. And he's like, "Oh, I think my brother's there. You go knock on the door of like the third trailer back to the left." So Mal, while he's on the phone with this guy,
You should.
climbs up these steps to knock on the door of the trailer, but they're like, it's just like boards on cinder blocks. So he like knocks on the door and no one answers. Then he tries to lean to look through the window, and the whole thing just came toppling down. And he just like eats shit into the bushes while he's on the phone with this guy. And he's like, "Okay, I'll be back there in like 10 minutes." So he comes back and lets us in, and it's just like this. What do you think? How big was that place? Maybe like 5 by 8 or
Yeah,
something.
something like that. It's a very small fucking little
But
shack.
it's like half of a counter pulled out of like a normal business, and then like a shelf with just like a really random assortment of liquor, and one little fridge that had like some random 12 packs in it.
Yeah. And then a case.
So
They had like a case, like a stack of like 3 cases of Lagunitas IPA 12 packs. Because I think that's what we ended up getting, like a bunch of the 12 packs.
something like that.
Yeah.
But what I remember was that nothing was labeled
Mm-hmm.
at all. Like there's no prices on anything. So it's like you, me, Mal, and
Johnny
Johnny
Lungs and
Lungs
Dirty.
and
And
Dirty.
Dirty. That's who took that ride.
Yeah, and we all like 5 of us at once start asking us to like, how much is this? How much is this? Can we get a deal on this if we buy this? Like, you want to throw in a bottle of that if we get all this shit? And I think we just overwhelmed them to the point
Yeah.
where
Everything was
we're
super overpriced, but like I think Johnny Lungs and Dirty in particular conned him into getting enough free shit that it turned out that we got stuff for a normal price. You know, like
yeah
it was like I don't know, like $30 or $20 12 packs or whatever. You know, a bottle that should be 30 was like 50, but we ended up leaving and getting enough shit for free that it was like a decent deal in the end. You
yeah
know,
we got like 24 Lagunitas and a bottle of whiskey, and then he just threw in a free
three
bottle of
but
like vodka,
vodka,
I think, to get
yeah,
rid of us
yeah.
or something.
My favorite
I'm
part
feeling
about that was that I was driving on the way there, and I didn't know Dirty at all. Like I just met him a couple of minutes before at the festival, and while we're driving there, it was like a 40-minute drive. I'm driving the car, and you guys are passing around that bottle of Jameson, and he hands it to me, and I'm like, "Fuck it," you know, like I'm sipping from a bottle of Jameson while I'm driving. That's not normal. I've never done that. This is the only time I've ever done that, you know. And then later
well,
on, when he's talking about renting us his van, because our ride fell through that night, you know, and he's like, "Oh, I have this conversion van I can rent to you guys." And I was, you know, we're like, "Yeah, of course, that'd be great if we can have that." And he's like, "Well, I saw you drive, and you're a very responsible driver, so you know, I feel comfortable, you know, giving this to you." And it was like, "You saw me drink out of a Jameson bottle while I was driving. That's the most, the most irresponsible thing. Like, what is your idea of a responsible driver? If responsible drivers are just sucking out of a bottle of fucking Jameson while they're driving, that's crazy."
and you're the one that handed it to me.
Mm-hmm. Exactly, you know, but who the fuck knows? I don't know. Let's go back, man. When you want to do it next summer? Can we do? You know, is that possible?
I mean, let's see. Are there still gonna be bars left next summer, or like
Uh,
a country that we live in? I don't fucking know.
I mean, maybe we should just fucking beeline it for there now and hole up and
Maybe we should bring the coronavirus to them. You
to
know?
Alaska. No, why would we
Yeah.
do that? That'd be crazy. Why don't we just go there before we get it? I don't know.
All right, cool. I'm buying my plane ticket right now.
All right.
I'm
Fair
still
enough.
banned from Canada.
Oh shit, yeah. We can drive through. Huh. All
Could
right.
hide me in a trunk or something. I don't know.
There you go. Smuggle Lawrence across the border. We can put you in a mummy. We'll put paper mache around you like a mummy, like you're a prop. You know what I'm saying?
Or a priceless artifact. You
Or
mean?
a priceless artifact. Okay, like a priceless artifact, and then we'll get you across the border that way. And then once we get you into Canada, or once we get into Alaska, you'll have to stay in that. I guess the whole time we drive through Canada, Because it'd be
I mean,
too
just in case, yeah.
it'd be too much work to wrap you up again, and then we'll break you out once we cross the border into Alaska.
Dude, sounds like a plan.
All right, I'm into it. I'll text Mal as soon as I'm done with this. We'll see what he thinks.
John's bringing me tequila. What are you doing?
I'm on 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. I'm halfway through 10, so I don't know. I haven't hit the liquor yet. You want to do a shot? Is that what you want to do?
Oh, I just did one. Fuck.
Okay. All right.
Before we sign off.
I would have went and got a shot before we signed off, but you already.
I didn't even know that was an option. It's not called 15 beers and maybe a shot on Tuesday afternoon.
Yeah, I don't know. You know, I have no fucking control. What the fuck do I know? Remember when you guys hiked up a mountain and saw a bear almost kill people?
I don't think it killed people, but it kind of looked like it was going to.
Yeah.
That was terrifying.
All right.
Do you remember when you thought you were going to hike with us and you gave up after like 50 yards?
Okay, it was fucking, a fucking 60-degree incline. There were signs that were like, bears are going to kill you, and then there were other signs that were like, there might be live mortars,
explosives,
explosives. Yeah, I was like, all right, maybe we can sit in the car,
Well, if anyone's actually listening to this, what was the name of that town? It started with a G.
It was it a G?
I brought it up earlier in the story about how we got boot fired because that's where we were the night before that happened.
That's where we saw Johnny Longs and Days and Daves that first night. What the fuck is that?
Yeah,
town
that's
called?
what I'm saying. What was the name of that? What's the name of that town?
Ski town. Fuck.
It's a little ski town. It's like an hour east of Anchorage, I want to say.
Girdwood.
Girdwood. Nice.
Boom.
Yeah, I think it's Girdwood. So we were there, and it wasn't the night we saw Days and Days. We went back because we played a bar there later in our time.
No, I think it was the day after we played the Brown Bear. Or no, it wasn't. You're right. It was the day we played the bar in Girdwood.
I understand why all these days run together because we were really drunk most of this time. But we were in Girdwood. We had played the night before. I think we just slept in the car most of the time we were there.
We had beds.
You're paying a ridiculous amount for a rental car in Alaska. You can also pay a ridiculous amount for hotels every night.
It was a 3-week tour. We slept in beds maybe 5 days. Maybe.
Yeah, and I think 3 of those were in Seward.
Yeah.
And one of those was on Boots' mom's floor.
Yeah. I think.
Anyway, we played the night before, and then the next morning we woke up and we had been told that way up on this mountain, which in the wintertime is a ski resort, there's a bar up at the top. And they're like, well, you can pay $30 to take like the tram up, or you can hike up, and if you hike up you can just take the tram down for free. So we were like, yeah, we gotta hike up and go to this bar like on the top of this mountain. That sounds fucking awesome. So we just start hiking, and it is like insanely steep, and in the first 50 yards it's like warning, like active bear area, and like warning, there might be live ammunition because
they
sometimes
use mortars to shoot down the avalanches.
We make avalanches on purpose so we don't have worse avalanches, and like all this shit like right at the beginning, and Kev's just like, nope.
I'm gonna go jerk off. I'm gonna go jerk off in a rental car. See you guys later.
Kev goes back to the rental car. Me and Mel stuck it out, but I've done a lot of hiking before, and there was only a couple of miles, but it was just like straight the fuck up. And I remember at the beginning thinking like, I might bring some beers, maybe I'll want some beers while I'm hiking. And by the time we were halfway, it was like we ran out of water. I think I actually physically crawled up part of this thing and then realized there was like a giant bear track next to my face.
What I didn't realize was it was only $20 to get the ride up, and you got 2 free drinks with it. So I should have, like, if I would have waited halfway through and just taken the fucking gondola up and been on my second beer while you guys were there, I don't know.
I think we only paid for one round, and then after that, people were like, "Holy shit, you just hiked up that? Like, let me buy you guys a drink." Hell, I think the bartender might have even bought us
There
around.
you go.
Everyone was just like, "You're fucking insane," which is, in retrospect, I mean, they weren't wrong. Uh, but then when we were taking the tram down, and you can see there's other trails that don't go all the way to the top. There's like lower, like more like walking trails, and we saw like a couple walking, and then on the other side of this like small stand of trees, we saw a grizzly bear that was like sniffing around, and then he like froze, like he smelled the hikers or something, and then just started charging in their direction. And then we went below a tree line, and we couldn't see it, and everyone in the tram was like, "Oh my
Wasn't
god,
the
follow that
operator?
fucking bear!"
That wasn't the operator like ground control. We have a situation in sector
Yeah,
3.
no, the
It's like
operator was like calling back down to the base, being like, "You need to send someone on a 4-wheeler, like to like this milepost on this trail." Like, I think we have a situation. We were like looking at the news the next day, like waiting for like hiker couple mauled by grizzly bear, and we didn't see it, so I guess it was okay, or
yeah.
maybe they tried to keep that shit hush hush.
Hopefully they were all right. I don't know. I
I
think
hope they were all
and
right.
I don't think we ever were in like serious grizzly country. I think we were like in brown bear or black bear. Black bears were like killing everyone.
Maybe it's just the way my memory works, but I remember that bear being quite large.
Yeah. I don't know.
Uh,
Yeah, maybe I'm certainly not an Alaska bear expert. I just thought
I'm
grizzlies
not
were
either. It looked a
I
lot
think
bigger than the fucking hikers, though. I'll
there are
say that
definitely
much.
grizzlies in like Denali and up in that neighborhood, but I don't know. I don't know. At least I didn't think down there. But what the fuck do I know? I didn't even see a moose with antlers, so I only
You're
saw
still pissed about that,
I
aren't
only
you?
saw a fucking lady moose. Which and hey, there's nothing wrong with lady moose, but
Yeah, why you gotta be sexist about it, dude?
but you
It's
want
fucked
to see
up.
the big fucking antlers coming out of the mist, like fucking.
You know what? It's 2020. A lady moose is just as good as a moose
Yeah, I
antlers.
know. I just want to see some fucking antlers. Who the fuck knows? Well, you know what? It's been great talking to you. I
Oh,
didn't.
you're sick of me? You want to do a shot before we go?
All right, let me go get the liquor. I should have done it while you just told that story.
What song are you gonna play when I sign out of here?
All right, all right, all right.
What song are you gonna play when I sign out of here?
Well, my friend Paul Flans is coming up next, so we're doing
Oh,
looking down the barrel of a gun. The Beastie Boys. Are you
he's
familiar?
not in the Beastie Boys.
No, but well, yeah, he doesn't have recorded music to play, but
All right, bud. You all ready?
come on, I'm pouring. Hold on. Why you rushing me, son?
Sorry, dog.
Why is there a Dirty Rotten Snake in the Grass song you want me to play at the end of the show?
You can play that metal one that you were talking about.
Which one's that again?
It's called "Ain't Tired of Living." It's like the second to last one on
All
our
right.
last album.
So we'll close out the show with that. Lara Hope says, "Love hearing your voice." Lauren, her miss you.
I love you too, bitch.
All right, cheers, motherfucker.
Cheers.
All right, it was great talking to you.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, let's do something again sometime soon. Let's whatever, fucking go somewhere and do shit.
Miss you, buddy.
Miss you too. Love you.
Yeah, spread some hugs around for me, or elbow bumps, or whatever we're supposed to do.
I'll do that.
All right.
All right, later days.
All right, bye.
All right, that was Lauren Jean from Dirty Rotten Snake in the Grass. One of my personal favorites. She's a good one. Hope you guys are doing good. I feel like I started getting a little off kilter during that one. We're going to bring it back home, though. We'll be good. I asked my good friend Paul Flans what song he wanted playing before he came on, and he went with some Beastie Boys. You know, I think Anthrax also covers the song, but we're going to go with the Beastie Boys version. So we'll do that, and then we'll give Paul Flans a call, right?
"15 beers on a Tuesday afternoon. That sounds about right. That sounds metal as fuck.
15 beers on Tuesday afternoon is a Crazy Rev Kev production.